There is a strange guilt that can come with wanting more, especially when you come from people who had to survive with less. You start dreaming bigger, and suddenly a voice inside you says, "Who do you think you are?" You want a better home, more money, a healthier relationship, a different career, a business, travel, education, peace, time, freedom. And then guilt appears because somebody you love struggled, because your parents did not have it, because your friends are still trying to figure things out, because you were taught to be grateful for whatever you received. Gratitude is important, but gratitude does not require permanent limitation. Tap the screen if you have ever felt guilty for wanting a bigger life. You can appreciate what you have and still want more. Those two things can exist together. You can appreciate the job and know you have outgrown it. You can love your hometown and know you need to leave. You can appreciate what your family gave you and still build differently. You can be thankful for survival while deciding survival is no longer enough. Some of us inherited a definition of success built around avoiding disaster. Keep a job, pay the bills. Do not get into trouble. Make it to retirement. And if that is the life you truly want, there is dignity in that. But if something inside you keeps saying, "There has to be more for me," you need to stop treating that voice like betrayal. Wanting more does not mean the people before you failed. Maybe their sacrifices created the possibility for you to imagine more. Maybe the point of somebody surviving the hard years was not for you to recreate them out of loyalty. Share this live with somebody who has been shrinking their dreams to remain relatable. There is a difference between staying connected to your people and staying committed to struggle. You do not have to remain financially unstable to prove you remember where you came from. You do not have to choose unhealthy relationships because dysfunction is familiar. You do not have to refuse luxury because somebody else had less. You do not have to reject opportunity so nobody can accuse you of changing. Growth changes things. It changes your options. It changes your standards. It changes what you can tolerate. It changes what becomes possible. That does not automatically make you arrogant. It makes you responsible for deciding what to do with the new possibilities. Sometimes we romanticize struggle because struggle feels authentic. We say, "I came from nothing." So many times that we begin believing nothing is where we belong. No. Your struggle can be part of your origin without becoming your permanent address. Follow if you believe Black ambition deserves room to breathe. You are allowed to want wealth. Not because money solves everything. It does not. But money can create options. It can create time, safety, education, mobility, access to care, the ability to help without destroying yourself, the ability to leave, the ability to say no to things desperation would otherwise force you to accept. Wanting financial stability is not greed. Wanting financial growth is not betrayal. What matters is how you build it and what it turns you into. You are also allowed to want softness. Some people think ambition must always look like hustle. Maybe more means less work. Maybe more means more time with your children. Maybe more means living somewhere quieter. Maybe more means enough money to stop calculating every grocery item. Maybe more means a healthy relationship where you do not have to recover after every conversation. Maybe more means waking up without dread. Do not let social media define more for you. More is personal. Write, "I am allowed to want more," in the comments, and then ask yourself what more actually means to you. Not what would impress people. What would improve your life? There are people chasing visibility who actually want freedom. People chasing huge houses who actually want security. People chasing relationships who actually want companionship. People chasing money who actually want rest. When you understand the real desire underneath the symbol, you can build more intelligently. Maybe you do not need to become famous. Maybe you need enough customers. Maybe you do not need to be rich by somebody else's standard. Maybe you need low debt and control over your time. Maybe you do not need everybody to know your name. Maybe you want your work to matter to the right people. That is still more, and it is allowed. Some people will become uncomfortable when your dreams expand. They may remind you to be realistic. Reality matters. You need numbers, plans, skills, strategy. But sometimes, be realistic is fear wearing respectable clothes. People will tell you something cannot happen because they cannot imagine themselves doing it. That is not evidence. Get informed. Study the risks. Make the plan. Then decide for yourself, like this. If you are done confusing other people's fear with wisdom, there is also a responsibility attached to wanting more. You cannot keep asking for a different life while protecting every habit that built the current one. More may require different choices, different spending, different friends, different boundaries, different routines, different information, different patience. You may have to become unfamiliar to yourself. You may have to say no to things the old version of you called normal. That is the price of expansion, not suffering for suffering's sake. Alignment. If you want more peace, you may need fewer chaotic relationships. If you want more money, you may need more financial discipline. If you want more opportunity, you may need more visibility. If you want more health, you may need different routines. If you want more self-respect, you may need to stop negotiating boundaries. The dream and the behavior must eventually meet. Before you leave, choose one more that matters to you. Name it clearly. Then identify one decision that would support it. Do not make it complicated. One decision, one step, one change in direction. Repeat this to yourself. I am grateful for what I have survived, and I am allowed to want more than survival. I do not have to repeat struggle to prove loyalty. I can honor where I came from while building somewhere new. I am allowed to desire peace. I am allowed to desire stability. I am allowed to desire wealth. I am allowed to desire healthy love. I am allowed to desire freedom. My dreams do not disrespect my history. They may be evidence that the sacrifices before me created room for something new. I am allowed to want more, and I am willing to become more intentional about building it.